Good morning, Polly Nikes here with my first ITS Season 10 tournament report. I'm playing down at GMI Games. Grab my pen for everybody here. Down at GMI Games in Riverside, California. You can see their game room over here. They've got a lot of nice tables set up, a lot of room, a lot of terrain. I enjoyed the venue very much. And our lineup for the day: Comm Center, Rescue, and Highly Classified, in that order. We are using the old objective deck because the new ones aren't available just yet. And otherwise, we're using the new Season 10 missions. All right, here's my first list. This list is intended for Highly Classified and Comm Center. You can take a look at the list and I'll talk through a couple of my decisions. We got a couple of strong pieces, the Speculo and Sheshkin being the two most individually strong. But the list has a lot of synergy, and those synergies are really more powerful than the individual pieces. The E-Drone, he does a lot. My regular opponents know to kill my E-Drone as soon as they can, because he does a lot of good things. When I'm combat jumping, he does that. In this particular list, he allows me to coordinate hack. He allows me to get the sat locks off with the M-Drone. He does a lot of good stuff. And he's actually a good running gunner himself. He upgrades himself. Now he's marksman level 2 with his combi rifle. He's very efficient when doing that. Got a bunch of cheap orders down here. We got the Q-Drone for reactive purposes. Group 2, we have Sheshkin. She's, as I said, a powerful piece, and she has a free agent, so she can jump to Group 1 when necessary. We have the MedTech. Again, this is just for Highly Classified. I don't usually run the MedTech. I prefer the Kurgat. I think he's more killy, and I'm more worried about fixing bots anyway. And the MedTech's a little more expensive. But I have him in this one with one slave drone. Also have the T-Drone for the missile support, ties into all the synergy. And the Zuriat. The Zuriat is a great objective getter for Highly Classified, or for really any classified, but particularly in Highly Classified. Often when I'm playing this similar list, that is a Shrouded Forward Observer or Mine Layer. I stuck with the Zuriat in this one for the Highly Classified. All right, list 2. This is the Morat Rescue Force. You can see it's a whole bunch of Morats, and the idea is to play this one in Rescue, which is why we've got the Raktarak Sergeant Major with his jungle terrain, also medium infantry with 4-4 move who can forward deploy. Kornak is also medium infantry with 4-4 move, so they're both good at forward deploying and going and get a civilian in the first turn if there's an opening. Kornak does have Frenzy, which means that if he kills anybody on the way, on turn 2 the civilian will desync from him because he will now be frenzied. But that's fine. You should be able to run forward, grab somebody, run back, drop off, have someone else pick it up. No worries there. We got some strong ARO pieces in the Unidron Missile Launcher, Q-Drone, and the Yaogat Multi-Sniper. Yaogat Multi-Sniper is one of my favorite ARO pieces. He does a lot of work in most games. And then I've got a couple of things to defend the civilians on my side of the board. The Shrouded Mine Layer, who's great for that. And the Crackrot Renegade down here in the bottom. He is also great for that, because again, he forward deploys, and he's good at killing anything that gets up close, trying to rescue one of the civilians. There's also a Dotaratsai in here. He's good for lots of reasons. Again, Smoke, right? Martial Arts level 4. He's cheap. He does his job. All right, let us move on to the missions. This is my first opponent's list. I'll get myself out of the way so you can see it. He's obviously playing military orders, and there's 2 guys in hidden deployment in the game that I don't know about, the 2 spec sergeants there. His reserve is going to be his Fusilier Lieutenant, which you'll see that's important because I don't get to attack it, basically because it's the reserve. All right, let's move on. This is my opponent. His ITS name was Aman, I believe, that's what we said. Yeah, okay. And on to these. In Comm Center, in Season 10, you get 3 classifieds. Again, we're using the old ones instead of the new ones, so these are my 3. All doable, all fine. All right. This is my setup. You can see the board here. Every other board in this tournament has terrain zones in it. This one did not. I don't know why. But deployment, E-Drone down here. The 2 Imatrons are kind of central. We got the T-Drone over here. Originally when I set it up, I was hoping for a ARO options through here, but once I got them down there, I realized we were playing the objectives as S5, and so there's no line of sight through there. And while he can AR over here, that's not really relevant. Icadron, R-Drone, Slave Drone, This is Kiss with Bit hiding over here, Q drone, M drone, Dockworm, Zuriat, and there's another R drone over there on the corner. See if I have another picture of that. Yeah, there's a little up close. This is Sheshkin on top of a roof, prone over here. She is not planning on doing anything in turn 1, maybe not even turn 2, so she's fine up there. A little bit more of the center of the board. You can see the Zuriat over here. Oh, this is actually into turn 1. Let me backtrack that there. Is that true? No, that's not true. The Zuriat's hiding over there. This is still deployment. Yeah, there's my other side of the board where I've got another Ikadron guarding the flank and the R drone watching my HVT who's over here. All right, so my opponent's deployment right underneath the camera here is a Father Knight Assault Hacker. I'm a real fan of that model. He's very tough. BTS 9, he can tank most things, get his objectives done. Even though he's only whip 13, he's fine. We got the link of Knights in here. Get a little better look of it. We've got an HMG, 3 Magister Knights. The Magisters are here, here, and here, and Hospitaller Doctor to go with Hospitaller HMG. All right. Here's both of our reserves. I'm deploying first and going first in this game. And I've got over here my Impersonator, and then his Fusilier Lieutenant up here, which I would have loved to have attacked with the Impersonator, but because it was going down second, not really feasible. Unless I went up here and missed the roll, which I don't usually do. All right. This is the beginning of turn 1, where, actually I think it's the beginning of his turn 1. I didn't take as many pictures as I would have liked in this tournament because I was pretty intent on playing. I'll give you the lowdown as I can here. My Impersonator moves over here, shoots into the Link team like that, putting one unconscious. Happened to be the Link leader, which is why this Magister Knight is running out on his own here. I shot a Repeater out here, and that allowed me to do some immobilization over here of getting, before the Impersonator moved in. Impersonator then moved back out and went back into recamo over here. This is his first turn, his Magister Knight's running out, and the guys are moving around. The Doctor comes over and medics up the guys that I put down, or the one guy that I put down. Middle of the board, Bit has come up and failed to get this objective here, with 2 dice on 16s, because she's a hacker, gets +3 and 2 dice in this ITS, which is great, except that I still fail. Bit went up here trying to get, Kiss went up here trying to get more repeater coverage, and got shot by the multi-sniper, who was in hidden deployment on the side of the board. We'll see in a moment. Zuriat snuck around over here and just get in position for getting this objective later. So she got the one down here. Yeah, as you can see my little marker there. Zuriat got that one, moved up, threatening the next one. This is the middle of the second turn. The Zuriat has run forward, grabbed that objective, and run back. The Q drone and M drone have both moved up. Kiss moved up over here. Excuse me, get them confused. Bit moved up over here. Threw down another repeater, and then Maestroed the Father Knight, put him unconscious. He's next to the objective up there. I think this is also when a Crusader Brethren jumped on the side near Sheshkin. We'll hopefully see a picture of that in a moment. And got eventually put down by a long-range combi rifle from the other side of the board. Just put unconscious, though. And this is the last turn of the game, or my last turn. My Speculo has wrapped around the corner over here, fired into the Knights, did nothing. My R drone has moved up here, again putting me repeater coverage down here, and allowing me to satlock this Knight with the HMG and drop a missile on him. They made all their saves, nothing, I didn't really do anything except, bombard them and put a repeater over here. You can note that we're going into turn 3, and all the Knights are pretty much in the spot where they started. And this is mainly because I've had repeaters over there the whole time. Every time they try to do something, I've been hacking them. Of course, they can move around a little bit without getting hacked because they have stealth, but anytime they try and do anything else, and there have been ARO pieces firing at them, which has allowed me to hack. And I've been doing some hacking in my own turn to immobilize them, making them having to reset on their own turn, which means I can hack them again. So I've basically trapped them all in this little area for the whole game. The Speculo, in her last effort over here to put these guys down, got put unconscious, so she's now a seed embryo. And then the Knights move out in their last turn. The Fusilier Lieutenant fires and kills the R drone, and the Knights move up to get the central objective here. The HMG is wounded on the way up there, and in the last turn, when the Doctor switches over to be the Link leader to get this objective, which he successfully does, the E drone, which is providing AROs here, crits and puts down the HMG. It's a bunch of points for victory points, but not for objective points. That didn't really matter. Yeah, there he is unconscious, and that's pretty much the end of the game. Yeah. So I was able to get all of the objectives, have a fair amount surviving, and the one objective point he got I believe it was for a classified. Okay, so game one, very strong. Was able to hold them down. They were a 10 order list, and I'm like you saw my list, like an 18 order list or something like that. So while they were all really strong, they weren't really able to break out of where I had them trapped behind repeaters all game. All right, game two. This is Rescue. I'm really excited to play my Morat Rescue Force here. I really like the mission Rescue. Don't want to see it in every single ITS event like I did in the season it came out, but I do enjoy it when it comes up. You can take a look at my opponent's list here. He's playing US Ariadna with a lot of grunts, a lot of grunt infiltrators. I believe there are 3 or 4 grunt infiltrators and a couple of foxtrots that try to infiltrate, which you'll see when we get there. Remember, I don't know about Van Zant, but he is in Combat Group 2 over here. My opponent wins the lieutenant role and decides to go first, giving me deployment options. I take what I think is the better side, which isn't terribly relevant, as you'll see momentarily. All right. This is my opponent. His name is 2D, and I played him once before, I believe. I think at LVO last year, but here he is. All right, so here's our board. Now, note to tournament organizers, or people who like to set up terrain at events, this board is garbage. 100% absolute garbage. It is not a challenging board that players will have a challenging game on. It is a board not designed for Infinity. Take a look at it. And note that there is no blocked line of fire across the board whatsoever. Just in case you thought there was some, the hollow echoes here, or holograms, are nothing. They do not block line of fire or line of sight. Only the wooden parts here do. The wooden parts like that do. The trees on bases are just reminders that the center is a low vis zone. That's it. It's also a saturation zone. But because of Rescue, it's already a saturation zone directly across. So there's almost effectively no terrain in this game. And I don't think my opponent quite realized how bad that was, but yeah. So please, if you're setting up terrain, don't set up garbage boards. Like challenging boards, terrain rules, players like that. It's exciting, it's interesting. Boards not set up for Infinity, not good. All right. Here's the board from the other side. It's just as bad. There's a couple places to hide, but it's not really helpful. It's not what you have to do, especially not in Rescue. Okay, so we are right into the opponent's turn 1. Forgot to take a lot of pictures, as I said before, but you'll get still a good understanding of what's going on. This silhouette here is one of my Pretas, and it has engaged successfully this grunt when he tried to move up here and flame these two. This guy wasn't quite in Arc of the Flamer, and the Preta made the engage roll. A little bit about deployment before we go on from here. My opponent successfully infiltrated 3 grunts. The one you see here, and behind this wall over here, there's one and there's another one. The little red marker you see next to him is what we're using as the hostages on my side. This is one of my camo tokens. Remember, I set up after him, so I knew the grunts were there. Just to the right of this camo token, but on the other side of the wall, is another camo token, which is not prone, so it was obviously a mine. But the mine is covering both these guys here. The Preta, also which was set down after the grunt, right, sits down right next to him, so as soon as he moves, he's going to engage. Immediately to the left of the 2 grunts over here, behind this box, which you will see a picture of, is the Crackrot Renegade, who's also ready to cover these 2 in case they try and do anything weird. So my opponent, realizing that there's not anything he can do in the center of the board because my Overwatch pieces can see everything, as can his, to be fair, brings on Van Zant. After this engagement happens, so the Preta can't do anything, Van Zant walks on over here, comes to the side here, and gets in a firefight with the Yao-Gat sniper. His first 2 engagements are over 16, much favored to the Yao-Gat. Van Zant gets hit, but tanks some armor shades, gets into cover here, and then runs out of orders without killing the Yao-Gat, or getting killed himself. When I looked at my opponent's courtesy list and deployment, I took 2 orders out of Group 2, which was the group Van Zant was in, leaving the Grunt Link with their full 10 and the Grunts with their full 10. I didn't think that was as dangerous as the unknown that was in Group 2. And it turned out to be correct, because Van Zant runs out of orders here without doing anything. Alright, this is my right side of the board. This is the Q-Drone, this is my Unidrone missile launcher, and farther on to my left here, in that direction, is the Yao-Gat sniper. And they can see almost the entire board. The opponent's Grunt Link team is this way, on top of a building. But wisely, he never activates them. Because if he activates any one of them, it gets everybody in the Link team dies to these 3 ARO pieces that I have out. I could have broken the Link, and then gone at it that way, but it would have been much less effective, and honestly, you still would have died. If you dropped down to Ballistic Skill 11 with one shot with their sniper rifles, or the HMG 3 shots going through this, it just did not seem good to him, and I agreed. He did send a Foxtrot up the flank over here, and it gets into the doorway here, trying to get into a shootout with the Unadron and the Dadarats. I can see him, and chucks a smoke out here. I'm just trying to cover this Imatron right here so it doesn't get killed in the game. And I do, and the Foxtrot loses the shootout with the missile launcher there and blows up. He was out of his good range, and I'm in cover. So it's 2 dice on -6 against my 1 die on -3. Again, it wasn't very good either way. I might have even been -6 because I'm within 24 too. You can see kind of the rest of my deployment. My Sergeant Major is over here, and the Zuriat is under here. The Morat Hacker is here, ready to support either drone whenever he needs to. And then the 2 slave drones are there for the Kurgat, who's hiding in the center of the game, center of the board with Kornak. All right. This is the more dramatic picture of my actual Hungry model. I still have them on the old S3 bases. I've never got around to rebasing them. That's why we use the silhouette for most of the time when it's important. So, on my first turn, the Hungry impetuously kills the grunt who's over here. And then I bring around this little guy, the Ikadron. If you remember in the picture before, Van Zant was facing this way. So I'm able to put both flamethrowers onto his rear. And he passes the turn-to-face dodge. And then I pistol him, and he passes the normal dodge and backs up to there. And remember, this is because I move out to see him. If he chooses to shoot back with his rifle, I double flamethrower him, and he just melts. So he chooses a dodge, and then I shoot my pistol to try and get a hit through. The second time I do that, I remember to upgrade to Marksman level 2, which is this marker right here. So my Morat Hacker upgrades this guy to Marksman 2, and he plugs Van Zant with a shock pistol and kills him. All right, center of the board, we can see where that Krakot is. And the Hungry has eventually worked his way up into this corner. He's trying to work around the corner. He had to do some cautious moves to avoid all those snipers and missile launchers that can see him. I guess it's snipers and HMG. The Krakot can't really activate because 2 snipers can see him, so he's not doing anything. This camo token is my Shrouded, who has walked over here, gone prone, moved up and laid a camo marker, which is obviously a mine, because my enemy has a Foxtrot over here who might try to sneak around and kill this guy. This is the unconscious marker here for the second of the grunts. Both grunts went unconscious on my turn. Kornak shot one with a Mark 12. He shot back, setting off the mine, which hit the other one, and I think he survived that, and then the Sergeant Major shot him in the back as he moved up, which we'll get to momentarily. The Renegade does not activate again because all the snipers looking at him. All right, yeah, here's the Sergeant Major. He's great. He's jungle terrain. He runs up there. From here, he can see to the back of the second grunt, and he just shoots him in the back. Unfortunately, kills him in one order. If he hadn't, he would have had a couple more tries at it. It was fine. He posts on this wall, looking through this building, to where there's another grunt on the other side. Takes a shot at him, doesn't do anything, but remains there to keep anyone from forcing their way through the building on their turn. All right, this is my next turn. On my opponent's second turn, he doesn't really do anything. This Foxtrot moves up, lays a mine. I think someone tries to move up on the Sergeant Major, but gets killed by the combi rifle. And then on my turn, I don't suppress the Hungry. I let him run with his impetuous order. He jumps over here, or runs over here, gets shot by 2 sniper rifles, an HMG, takes a mine from this Foxtrot, takes another AR from over here, and I just chain rifle this Foxtrot. He fails his dodge and dies to the Preta, and I'm quite happy with that exchange. That was the only forward piece my opponent had at this point. And we move now to the end of the game, where the Sergeant Major has run up and is grabbing his second civilian. You can see the HMG over here is unconscious. There's an unconscious marker there. And what happened there was I eventually just decided to just go at it with the Q drone, upgraded it, and started shooting all 3 pieces that were out, the 2 snipers and the HMG. I put one of them down, went unconscious, then I fixed the Q drone and kept going, and eventually put all 3 of them down. That freed up the Sergeant Major, who was in that building, as you saw, and he ran around, grabbed a hostage, drug it like halfway across the board, and then passed it off to the Zuriat, because she was my data tracker. And she laid a mine or 2 next to herself and tucked into a corner to hold on to that civilian. Then Sergeant Major went back for a second one. The Krakot ran across the board since the way was clear now. He does that to clear a mine, which is over here. Mine blows up on him, and he just dodges it. And then the Shrouded moves up, eventually coming over and sinking with the civilian here to give me another one synced. There's the Zuriat, who's moved back into my deployment zone with her hostage. And that's the data tracker marker next to it, the nice combined army symbol. All right, so the end of this game. I have 7, my opponent has 0. I have almost everything surviving, including my 2 baggage bots, hence the 315. Not a terribly exciting game, mostly because of the terrain. Like really, neither one of us felt like we could really do much. We just like skirted around the sides very slightly. And yeah, all right, we'll move on to game 3. Game 3 against Steel Phalanx, and it is highly classified. I always have trouble with Steel Phalanx, mainly because I don't tend to bring enough visors. If you look at the 2 lists I have, there's only 1 visor, which is the Galgat Sniper. And that's not the list that I want to play in highly classified, because I don't think it has the specialist necessary. So I decide to indeed play my Sheshkin list, and hope there's different ways to deal with the mass ODD going on. All right, that's my opponent's list. And this is my opponent, whose name is Tech Evil, playing Steel Phalanx. All right, here are our 4 classified objectives for highly classified. That one is Sabotage. See, it's quite a spread of missions. I think Sabotage is easy to get, again, because I have the Zuriat with the Assault Hacker and the decharges. Kidnapping is a very difficult one, though I have the Speculo who can do that, which is great. Telemetry is fairly easy. HVT inoculation, again, I think very difficult. Unless, of course, I manage to grab the Civ and run back with it, which is what I'm going to try to do. Yeah, good thing I have Doc Worm, not my Kurgan in this mission. All right, so this is my deployment. Starting my right flank, we have Sheshkin down here on the bottom of the stairs, one of the Ikadrons, Dadarazai, M drone, R drone, Bit and Kiss again with one of the slave drones there. You can see them again, Q drone down in the center. Bit leaves a repeater back here, just in case they run off to do things. I want to keep in repeater range of my Q drone. Imatron, and over here, my far left, we've got my other Ikadron and my R drone. This was obviously a mistake. I was really planning on moving him up to drop a sniffer somewhere in the first turn. That's why I had him so far forward, but he really should have been right here. Just in case he didn't, he would have had cover, because this negligible amount of movement, especially on a 6/6 guy. Yeah. Then down here we have the T drone, who does get some work done this game. And we have the E drone, who does a lot of work this game, you'll see. And Doc Worm over here, who is very important, especially in highly classified. All right, on to my opponent's setup. We have a link over here. I often forget the names of all of the Greek names for these guys. I know this is Phoenix, because I have a history of hatred with Phoenix. And this is his link. And over here we have possibly Thrasymedes and his link. These 4 guys here. Got a War Core and a bot and a net rod down there. On his right flank, we have the Agema Sniper, which is the multi-sniper rifle. Their character hacker, the guy with journalism, I don't know his name, but he's right there. And then they have an 8-point bot over there. This is his HVT right here, which is going to be my first target. I guess second after Sabotage. Alright, so I didn't get a lot of pictures of this game because it was a little more intense than it needed to be. Important part was the Speculo runs up here to try to get this HVT, fails like 3 checks to grab it, and eventually does grab it and pulls it back only to where you see it now. She ends up right here and not even impersonated. Terrible position. My opponent spends his first turn running up Phoenix in his link, and he kills a whole bunch of drones, net rods, things like that, and kills the impersonator who was there. This is where the E-drone is covering the HVT right there, my HVT. This is my opponent's repeater, actually, that he shot out. Yeah, this is very end of the game state when I remember to take these pictures. Bit and Kiss are moving out. I'm going to go back for a moment to the slide we were just on. So Machion, who I believe is the doctor character, he has run up here and inoculated the HVT, which was one of them, and then he's kidnapped the HVT and run back to here, and that's as far as you could get. So on my last turn, the E-drone upgrades itself to Marksman 2, and rushes out to get a shot on Machion. Machion has a ODD up, so I'm not having good shots, but I ran into good range, so I'm still like on 8s. He fires and puts the E-drone unconscious. And then Doc Worm runs up behind him and heals the E-drone, also getting shot and being put unconscious behind by Machion. The E-drone, active again, rushes over to this position you see him in now, where he'll have cover for further on orders, and fires again at Machion, rolling 2 8s, which are criticals. With his upgraded self, he's now Marksman 2, which is shock, and Machion is dead. And the civilian has survived. Okay, Bit and Kiss have run out to the center, trying to get between, or get the repeater coverage at least, in between the hacker journalism guy and the HVT, because he could go kidnap that as well. Now, I don't think my opponent realizes it, but I'm within 8 of his repeater right here, so if his hacker acts, I will killer hack him. And that will be good. The Phoenix Link team sort of disappeared around here. It ran up to there, got in a little bit of a firefight. I was able to, through KISS as a repeater, I was able to forward observe Phoenix when he was standing right here, and then drop missiles on him until he died. Fortunately for my opponent, there was nobody else within the blast radius of the missile, but it was still really important that Phoenix died right there. All right, this is sort of my right flank. You can see the Zuriat. She's inside this building, which is the building she blew up for sabotage. One of the first orders I did was run here, sabotage it, blow it up, and then run inside, where I could arrow out through this, underneath this bridge right here, and just kind of be safe for the rest of the game. This Link team eventually moved up, took up these positions here. Again, they spent some time killing some, like a net rod and something like that. It wasn't terribly important, really. And then Sheshkin comes around the corner here. My opponent's getting ready to go into his 3rd turn. I'm just trying to deplete his order pool. I kill the 2 guys over here with like AP rounds from my multi-rifle, and then I get crit flash pulsed here, and that ends that. But I've killed 2 of them, that's probably fine. He has 1 lone Myrmidon run out with a boarding shotgun and take a shot this way, and it kills both the M drone and the R drone that's hanging out over there. But we've already got most of our objectives now, and that is okay. Yes, nothing else going on in that picture. And this is the end of the game. We had 8 objective points for having more classified, and a couple of classified, and our secondary classified. And then we both didn't have very much surviving at the end. It was a pretty bloody game. But there it is. And I did end up winning the tournament with 3 major victories. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report. And if you have questions, feel free to post them down below. And let me know if you like the tournament report, even though it's a little less detailed than the normal battle reports. And next time I'll try to take more pictures. And that's all I got. Thanks for watching.